Some minds were never meant for noise. They don't think in sentences. They think in universes. They don't just observe life, they drown in it. And sometimes they drown so silently, no one notices they are sinking at all. You might be one of them. You may look calm on the outside, collected, even normal. But inside, your mind is a never-ending storm of thoughts, questions, memories, dreams, meanings, possibilities. You don't just exist in the world. You analyze it, decode it, and quietly feel it deeper than most people ever will. This is the hidden psychology of people who are deep thinkers. And the world is not built for minds like yours. You sit in a room full of people, yet somehow feel like you are on another planet. The music is loud, the laughter is loud, the conversations are loud, but inside you, there is only thought. Why do people behave the way they do? Why does love hurt so much? Why does the past keep returning? Why do I feel everything so deeply? Most people search for answers in the world. Deep thinkers? They search inside themselves. And sometimes that inside becomes a prison. You replay conversations, you relive moments, you rewrite what you should have said, what you should have done, what you should have been. And late at night, when everything is silent, your mind becomes the loudest place on earth. But listen carefully. This is not a weakness. It is not a curse. It is a different kind of brain. A mind that doesn't swim on the surface of reality, but dares to explore the dark, silent, mysterious depths. Deep thinkers are not made for shallow waters. And that is exactly why they struggle the most to breathe in this world. You feel things 10 times stronger. Words cut deeper. Memories last longer. Silence becomes heavier. Loneliness becomes familiar. And yet, no one sees it. Because deep thinkers are experts at hiding their storms behind calm eyes. They become the listeners, the helpers, the strong ones. But who listens to the listener? Who helps the helper? Who understands the mind that understands everyone else? You are the kind of person who feels guilty for feeling too much and feels broken for thinking too deeply. But the truth is, your mind is not broken. It is rare. And rare things are always misunderstood first. Deep thinkers don't just think about life, they think about meaning, purpose, death, the universe, other people's emotions, their own existence. They stare into the mirror and don't just see a face, they see a story, a timeline, a question yet to be answered. And that is why deep thinkers often feel different from everyone else. Not better, not worse, just different. And different often feels like lonely. But today, you are not alone. Because in this moment, as these words reach your ears, someone finally sees inside your mind. And what you are about to hear next might be the first time in your life that your thoughts have a voice. In the next moments, you will discover why deep thinkers suffer in silence, why love hurts you more than others, why you feel older than your age, and why this world desperately needs people like you. But be warned, once you hear this, you will never see yourself the same way again. This is not just a video, it is a mirror, and only the deepest minds will truly understand it. Let's go deeper. There is a side of your mind no one ever talks about, because it is not beautiful. It is not poetic. It is not inspiring. It is heavy. Deep thinkers do not just think a lot. They overthink existence itself. They analyze every word, every reaction, every silence, every message left unread. And the most dangerous part? They don't even realize they are doing it. It just feels normal to them. You replay moments that happened years ago, as if they just happened yesterday. You remember words people forgot they even said, but those words, they still live in you, like invisible scores on invisible skin. Other people forget and move on, but you archive everything inside your mind, every emotion, every disappointment, every time you weren't enough, every time you were too much. And in the quiet, the archive opens itself, one memory at a time, one regret at a time, one what if at a time. And suddenly, you are no longer in the present. You are trapped inside the past. Deep thinkers have a strange relationship with time. Their body exists in the present, but their mind lives everywhere else. In the future, in the past, in scenarios that never happened, in conversations that don't exist. They can sit perfectly still, looking calm and quiet, while inside, entire worlds are collapsing and being rebuilt again and again and again. This is what overthinking truly is. Not just thinking too much, but being unable to stop. And you know what hurts the most? You are aware of it. You know you are overthinking. You know you are going too far. You know the thoughts are hurting you. Yet, you still can't shut it off. Because deep thinkers do not control their minds. Their minds control them. They lie in bed at night, their body exhausted, but their thoughts wide awake, replaying everything, imagining everything, creating worries that haven't even happened yet. This is why deep thinkers often feel tired even after sleeping, because it was never the body that needed rest, it was the mind. And the mind never stops running. So what do deep thinkers do to survive? They wear masks, not physical ones, emotional ones. They become the strong friend, the quiet one, the wise one, the listener. They act like everything is fine, but on the inside, they are fighting invisible wars. And the worst part? They fight them alone. Because deep thinkers hate burdening others. They don't want to be too much. They don't want to seem weak. They don't want to explain something no one would understand anyway. So they suffer silently, with a fake smile and a storm inside. Even in relationships, deep thinkers feel different. They love deeply. They connect fully. They attach emotionally. But because they feel more, they also hurt more. A small change in tone, a delayed reply, a different look in someone's eyes, and their mind instantly says, something is wrong. They don't just love, they analyze love. They don't just enjoy moments, they dissect moments. And because of this, they often ruin beautiful things with imaginary fears. This is the curse of awareness, knowing too much, feeling too deeply, seeing too clearly. It is both your greatest gift and your greatest pain. Most people don't notice energies, shifts, details. But you notice everything. A micro-expression, a shift in body language, a change in breathing, a slight emotional distance. You detect it instantly, and it eats you alive. This is why deep thinkers isolate themselves, because relationships are loud, expectations are loud, emotions are loud, and their mind is already too loud. So they retreat into their room, into music, into books, into imagination, higher neural sensitivity, greater emotional intelligence, stronger pattern recognition, higher self-awareness, a mind built for abstraction and connection. This is not overthinking. This is high-level perception. It is the ability to see reality beneath illusion. That is why you feel different, because you were never meant to be the same. While others see events, you see meanings. While others hear words, you hear intentions. While others live moments, you see consequences. This is the mind of philosophers, artists, strategists, visionaries. People who shape the future, while everyone else is distracted by the present. But deep thinking comes at a cost, and that cost is loneliness, because people cannot relate to what they cannot understand. You struggle in conversations. Small talk feels pointless. Surface-level friendships feel empty. You crave something real, raw, meaningful. And when you don't find it, you choose solitude over fakeness. But solitude is not loneliness. It is the training ground of greatness. Every great mind in history spent most of its life alone, thinking, questioning, observing, creating. Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Carl Jung. Their minds were not made for crowds. They were made for creation. And so is yours. But here is the danger. If you do not understand your mind, it will turn against you. If you do not guide your thoughts, they will guide you to darkness. This is why deep thinkers must develop one thing above all else: mental discipline. A deep thinker with no direction becomes depressed. A deep thinker with purpose becomes unstoppable. Purpose gives your thinking a direction. Without purpose, your mind becomes a prison. With purpose, it becomes a universe. You don't need to think less. You need to think towards something. Creation, art, business, knowledge, psychology, music, writing, helping others heal. When your mind has a channel, it stops flooding. That is why so many deep thinkers turn to art, not because they are weak, but because it is the only way to release what the mind cannot hold anymore. The world calls it talent, but really, it is survival. And then comes the greatest realization of all. Deep thinkers are not meant to fit in. They are meant to wake up, to see pain and not run from it, to see darkness and not become it, to see truth even when it hurts, to sit with reality in its rawest form. And when they finally understand themselves, they don't just change their own life, they change others. Because they speak for the silent, they express the unspoken. They give voice to the invisible suffering. And that is a very rare gift. You were not created to be ordinary. You were created to see what others cannot, feel what others ignore, and think beyond what others fear. That is power, even if it feels like pain right now. But power without guidance becomes destruction. And in the final part, I will show you how to control your overthinking, how to turn pain into clarity, how to calm your mind without killing your depth, how to use your thinking as a weapon and a gift, and the one mindset shift that will change your life forever. So stay with me, because this next part was never meant to be heard by everyone, only by those who are ready to understand themselves. You are not here by accident. You were drawn to this message because you are one of them, a deep thinker on the edge of awakening. If you are still here, listening, feeling every word, then you are ready for control. Not control over the world, not control over other people, but control over the only thing that ever imprisoned you, your mind. Deep thinkers do not need to erase their thoughts. They need to guide them. Trying to stop thinking is like trying to stop the ocean from moving. You don't stop an ocean, you learn to sail it. Here is the first truth you must accept. Your thoughts are not facts. They are visitors. Some bring truth, some bring lies, and some only come to test your strength. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching the thoughts. And that single realization changes everything. When the mind brings a painful thought, instead of fighting it, say, "I see you, but I do not belong to you." Then let it pass. No judgment, no fear, no attachment. This is how deep thinkers find peace without losing their depth. Second, you must give your mind a home, a creative outlet. If your mind is a storm, you must give it a sky. Write your thoughts, create music, draw the chaos, build ideas, read deeply, study psychology, understand humanity. Develop a relationship with your mind instead of a war. When you do this, your mind stops attacking you and becomes your closest ally. That is when you evolve from a deep thinker into a deep creator. Third, you must stop seeing your sensitivity as weakness. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is heightened perception. It is awareness. It is emotional intelligence. In a world that feels nothing, you feel everything. And that means you understand everything more deeply. It is not a curse. It is a rare form of intelligence. You don't numb this mind. You refine it. You shape it. You protect it. Because one day, this mind will create something that will change lives, including your own. Now listen very carefully. This next part is important. Many deep thinkers die inside without even realizing it. Not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. They slowly disappear into overthinking, into anxiety, into isolation, into silent pain. Because no one ever told them this. You were not meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be understood by yourself first. The moment you stop trying to be normal is the moment you start becoming powerful. And right now, something is happening inside you. A small shift, a quiet recognition, a sense of, that's me. And that realization alone means you are waking up. You are starting to see yourself clearly, without shame, without apology, without fear. And because of that, you now have a choice. You can go back, return to noise, return to distraction, return to ignoring your mind. Or you can choose growth, awareness, depth, evolution. If you choose the second path, then here is the truth. You are not alone. There are others like you, quiet minds, deep minds, overthinking minds, beautifully dangerous minds. And this channel, Dr. Vane, was created for people like you. A space of understanding, a space of psychology, a space where deep thinkers feel seen, where shadows become knowledge and silence becomes strength. If this video touched your mind, even a little, then you already belong here. So now I'm going to ask you, not as a YouTuber, but as one deep thinker to another, if you felt understood, if you felt seen, if you felt less alone, then subscribe. Because this is not just content, this is your mind finally being spoken to. And before you go, leave a comment. Not for the algorithm, not for views, but for connection. Just write one thing: I am a deep thinker. Because when you do, you give others the courage to admit it too. And maybe, for the first time, a deep thinker will not feel alone. You are not too much. You are not strange. You are not broken. You are not overthinking. You are simply aware. And awareness is the beginning of everything. Remember this forever. The world fears deep thinkers, because deep thinkers are the ones who see truth before the rest of the world is even ready to open its eyes. You are one of them, and this is just the beginning.